Hello, guys, and welcome to the wrap up for the 24th of January 2020. First, let's just start by saying they are having a test drive, and I'll remind you guys next week, but not the next week, but the following week. And that will basically include for $9 2 weeks of the entire program that you see me use. This is how I backtest my trades, find my trades with the scanner, trade it automatically with Brokerage Plus through Interactive Brokers, use the AI, which I also consult with them to help improve. So basically everything that you see me do is done through this program. So if you're at all interested, this is a great way to check it out. It's under $10 and you get 2 weeks to play around with it. There'll be a link in the video below. So just right below the video, scroll down in that little description box. There will be a link to pick this up. Full disclosure, it is an affiliate link, so it helps out the channel if you decide to purchase down the road. So let's just start with that. So again, for the people who are new here, from my kind of Beyond Meat video that got pretty good reception, thank you for that. That was a great trade, and I'm going to continue to upload those live swing trading videos. They seem to be very popular, so I'm just going to keep going with them. I'll edit and upload another one. Good trade that we had for this week, and then I think next week will be another losing trade because, they happen, so I definitely want to show them as well. So this particular series, again, for those who are new, essentially what we do is we take Trade Ideas' ability to backtest ideas and situations in the market, and we take that and we say, okay, well, what would happen if we traded all of these symbols, right? Everything that came through this particular scenario, what would happen if I traded that? This one won't turn out very well. I just kind of picked something at random. Actually, let's just do it the other way. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm asking the system what would happen if I took this particular setup and bought every trade that went through it and held it for a few days with a stop loss and a profit target and all of that situations in place. And it says, here you go. Here's what your equity curve for this particular strategy would be. After building those, I develop lists of everything that would have triggered on Friday. I scan the list using my eye and what I know of technical analysis, narrow it down into 4 longs, 4 shorts. I let them open throughout the week, let them go all week long, and then we close them down on Friday. I show you guys how it's worked, full upfront, transparent, and then we go into the next week and I show you what I would be watching there as well. So this week was $1.66 per share. So I added that to the spreadsheet that I've got kind of upkeep over here. So you can see $1.70 was put there, and so this is the equity curve of the strategy depending on whether you bought 100 shares, 200 shares, 300, 400, or 500 shares. So I'll just keep this going throughout the year just to see how well we do. Again, the beauty of this is it's a hands-off strategy. It may not be the most profitable that you've seen on planet Earth, but the point is this is kind of a way to use statistics and technicals to kind of swing trade for the everyman, the guy who goes to work and does whatever he does all day, and is not a full-time trader and just wants to, increase an account size or whatever. I just want to show you guys that proper risk management with statistical and technical analysis may be a good way to go about doing that. So let's start by looking at what we see here on the market. So on the SPY, we actually had an engulfing candle today where we gapped up and then sold off and actually closed probably 5-6 days worth of action there. End of the world, certainly not, right? Just take a look. We could pull back to a trend line like this. I keep forgetting that Trade Ideas improved their trend line drawing, so I can do this much easier myself, right? So we have this trend line here, right? So we could drop down to that. We have all the way back to the breakout point around 300 we could pull back to. So certainly ignore the doom and gloomers and the naysayers, but just keep in mind that this is has happened. We've had an engulfing candle, and it's the first time we've kind of cracked here in a while. So I wouldn't be shocked if we have a little bit of a pullback. Again, the market just kind of got a bit of ahead of itself. Really nothing to freak out over. So we had one long and two shorts triggered this week. We had CDNS that actually broke out, did pretty well, and then on the engulfing candle today pulled back, closed plus 50 cents, so just a little tiny winner on that one. FAST, we were looking forward to break down this area after this unusual candle here and continue, and that's just what we got from that, so a good trade out of that one. And last but not least was EMR, which we were looking for it to break down a bit, but instead it just kind of chopped around. It closed kind of profitable for us, but not insanely. So looking at what I'm eyeing this week, NEO is the first one here. If we zoom out, you can see the absolute meteoric run of this thing, just from $0 to $30 a share pretty quickly. So just looking at this as, again, a potential overdone type scenario. Looking at this engulfing candle after it broke out to new highs, these to me look like potential bull traps, right? So a potential that something here has happened that would have kind of pushed us one way or the other there. Just lost my connection for a second. One moment. Basically, when a stock kind of breaks out and then immediately sells off, I look at that as a potential bull trap. So I'm just kind of eyeing that to see if there is continuation lower, and we could push down to $30 before anything crazy happens. IVI, same type of thing, except this one is happening kind of directly at a resistance area here. It's kind of pushed up into it after a long push up. So again, we are looking for the next 5 days max of price action. So I'm not saying that these, I'm not trying to call tops or anything on this, just resistance type plays and following this kind of engulfing candle right after a doji. So you had an indecision candle and then a very strong decision candle after that. Quite often those can kind of continue. Keeping with the theme in APLS, I'll notice there was a kind of an RSI divergence here, which is something I've been watching more and more ever since taking my CMT. They talked about it quite a bit. And then again, the same type of doji candle followed by this big kind of push down. Long move up here, even if we kind of close just touch into the gap a little bit, that's still a great potential play. Last on the short side is YNDX, another RSI divergence happening here. And a indecision candle. So you'll see that I have my entry line much further down because I wanted to break this kind of elephant bar that's happening here. Okay, next on the long side. So we have Lyft. You'll notice quite a bit of what I looked at on the long side was stocks that didn't pull back when the market did. That's kind of what I look for when we have these kind of big dumps that happen in the market. I look for, okay, what didn't participate in that? So it's kind of relatively strong. So you can see here on Lyft, we have the area that it turned before, and we're kissing that now with a 10% short float. 4.5 days to cover. That's pretty interesting as well. So there's a potential here that we could kind of crack through 50, and that might get some momentum behind it. LEG, basically just looking at this nice long pullback, and we pulled back into this trend line here. Then we broke the trend line, we pulled back into it, and you can see if you look closely at these candles that we have a spinning top, a hammer, and kind of a fat spinning top there. So ever since we broke the trend line, there's been a whole lot of indecision. So I think if this resolves higher, there's a chance that we kind of make a little kiss there at all-time highs. CSX, we have this gap fill, right? Sometimes these actually cause reversal, but this reversal's only been a few days in the making. So you can see we reversed here off that gap fill, but only 3 days. And then we had this giant engulfing candle. And then again, as the market was selling off today, we just had a little dragonfly type doji. So I think a continuation of that, and we could definitely pop up some good relative strength there. And then last but not least, MCY. Basically on MCY, I'm looking at this down trending line and then this area of support. So we have this descending triangle. Quite often when these descending triangles break higher, we can get a little pop in our favor, and you can see that we don't really have much in the way of resistance until way up here at about $53 or so. So that is the watch list for this week, and that is what happened last week. Again, there'll be more trading that's happened, or more live swing trading that I'll post up on the channel, and we're going to have a few other series that are going to come on. Again, my goal has always been, say, 3 to 5 videos a week. If I can get there, I'll be happy. A quick look at Bitcoin. I almost forgot about this. I had mentioned that I was kind of long Bitcoin as it broke above this resistance area. We came all the way up to this downtrend line that I had drawn, pierced it a little bit, and then as we kind of came back down in this like 8,500 area, I exited my long. So I'm just watching here now. It's the question is, how big of a reversal off of this trend line are we going to get? If it's just a little shallow one like this and we continue to move higher, I'll just re-enter the position. If we end up coiling back over and selling lower, I think that's a pretty bearish sign, and we could be going to kind of retest the 6,000 area again, and below that, who knows. So again, I'm watching it closely. It does look like we're holding on, if you can see all the bottoming tails through here. So if we continue to hold strong, then that's something I'm going to keep my eye on. So that is it for this video. Until I talk to you guys next time, trade safe.